Okay, before I say anything else, if the title didn't make this pretty clear already, I do not align myself with the views of quite a few of the people who worked on the show. I was going to avoid watching the new season altogether, but when I told my sister that, like the neoliberal she is, she made me watch it. She tried to guilt trip me to do it of my own free will at first and asked me, do you really want to not support the career of the child actor for dipshit Derek? I can't recapture how funny it was to hear her say that, but like, yeah, the kid already got paid, and I'm not going to support a show I overall think is made by morally shitty Zionists just for some 10-year-old's acting future. So she was making dinner for both of us very nicely, and then she made me stay in the living room and watch the first episode, and the start of episode 2. I was trying to resist wanting to watch more after that, but then the episode 1 ending and start of episode 2 happened, where the Demogorgons attacked the Wheelers, their mom getting killed potentially, and the kidnapping of Holly unfortunately got me hooked. I still pirated every episode of the show I watched after this because I did not want to actually support it on Netflix, which my sister was still somehow morally object to when I mentioned I planned on doing this, because how dare I not support dipshit Derek's actor's career. But yeah, I didn't watch the show illegally. So I watched the rest of the first batch of season 5, and then I felt the desire to go back and watch the whole show again. Still pirating it, by the way, but I watched it all again. So I'm making this video now mostly as an outlet for that time investment at this point. I used up so much of my fucking time watching and rewatching this show, and I can't even really talk about it with my fucking sister because she actually liked this final season for the most part somehow. The first 4 seasons of Stranger Things I think are mostly pretty good seasons of television. Season 1 is like pretty much undeniably the best season from an actual quality standpoint. The intrigue of the mystery of what happened to Will is really gripping, and seeing how these separate groups of characters all come together by the end, each getting involved in this mystery in different ways, is just so good. And despite how distinct each story is, being in essentially different genres, none of them feel like they're wasting your time. Later seasons don't really manage to pull that off again, unfortunately. Stuff like that kind of lets you know this show was only ever intended to be one season and had a very specific formula in mind that couldn't be replicated. I basically had no memory of any of the events of this season from watching it for the first time like 3.5 years ago, so it was essentially like doing that again, which was really nice because, like I just said, this show has a really unique format for this season, and I got to experience all the twists and turns from it like a first-time viewer. Season 2 is decently close behind it, despite some elements being a little shitty. Bob dying does not have like any impact, and you know he's gonna fucking die. He's the newly introduced character the audience doesn't have much of an attachment to. The Mind Flayer is like a pretty cool concept, I think. It taking over Will is actually pretty gut-wrenching to see this little boy experience. And I still feel empathy for him because Noah Schnapp is still a child and doesn't have Zionism seeping from every pore of his face. I genuinely do not know how to explain it, but Noah Schnapp just looks evil now. It's probably just because I associate his adult face with his beliefs, but there's just something about it. Anyway, also, Ellen Hopper's father-daughter dynamic is cute. Elle also discovering the truth of her past with her mom is interesting to see and shit. Also, I don't know why everyone doesn't start calling her Jane, her actual name after this, but I guess they just liked the dehumanizing name too much. But, yeah, she then joins a gang with her sister she finds out about from this, and it's gay and lame. I like Max as a character a lot. The kids wanting to be friends with her so bad and having this idealized view of her she plays into when talking to them, only for you to see how shitty her home life is and how she isn't entirely like how she presents, was quite compelling. Okay, I'm just gonna make a side note because I don't really know where else to, like, fit this. They have this running thing of Billy being, like, racist towards Lucas, or, like, they imply that he hates Max hanging out with this kid because he's black. But, like, with the newest season and how shitty of writers the Duffer Brothers are, I genuinely don't even know if that was intended anymore. I feel like he might just hate Lucas.
Lucas Sinclair, what a surprise. You stay away from her. Stay away from her.
I'm just saying, I think they are shitty enough writers
that because of the fact that they don't explicitly say it, with the way that they talk about him in season 3, which I'm not going to delve that much into, I feel like they like ignore this. They never bring up, Max never is like he's racist. No shit. I think he just hated Lucas for no reason.
Steve and Dustin are also a very fun pair and continues to be as the show goes on. Okay, season 3. This is a controversial opinion, I think, but I actually really like this season. I'm able to suspend my disbelief over the Russians making another gate because it's mentioned in season 2. Oh, fuck. I completely forgot about mentioning Nancy and I forgot his name. I actually really liked his character. How did I forget his name? I literally had to look this up for the video. I had to look it up when I was typing the script. His name is Jonathan. I knew that, but I forgot. Yeah, they go to see the evil Zionist Murray to expose the story on the lab because it killed people, and then the lab kidnaps them when they learn they're gonna do that, and they try to scare them, and then they say people could find out what we're doing and try and reproduce the shit that we're doing. What if the Russians find it? I think they literally say that. I think that's pretty effective setup for this to happen. And it's the Cold War in the 80s. What the hell? Sure. I really like Max and Elle's dynamic. Very fun friendship. It spawns from Hopper being an asshole to Mike, but it doesn't come out of nowhere for me. His daughter died, and he's dealt with them being annoying children for months. He does make an attempt to go about it in a better way, but ultimately doesn't end up listening to Joyce and does it his way. And I just remembered, this is unscripted, but like Mike was also a fucking asshole, but like he's a teenage boy, he's gonna be a fucking piece of shit. It felt like natural. It felt less natural for Luke. I don't know. It was fine. These characters are humans. They can make mistakes, like being a fucking asshole. Dustin and Steve finding the Russians with Robin is a plotline I do in fact like. Robin is a great addition to the cast. I really like her and what she brings to Steve's character and her as her own character. But as much as I like this plotline and the character interactions that arise from it, generally people really just do not like this shit, I think. And, I guess I can see why here. The idea that these kids fresh out of high school find this stuff through the means they do could seem kinda stupid, but it's kind of a theme of this show that these kids are outcasts and are able to see what's going on better than most of the people in the town since they've been conditioned to see things differently. Plus, it's connected to the previous conspiracy these kids already uncovered before. And even though acknowledgement isn't always like a thing that like it makes it better, but they do acknowledge how strange it is these kids discovered this by the fact that the Russians don't believe they aren't working for someone. You also get Joyce and Hopper uncovering it in a different, more dramatic way in their plot for the most part. Very smooth transition to this, but Robin's coming out scene and how she's not reduced to Steve's love interest is not gay and lame. The Mind Flayer taking people over and using their flesh to build a monster is a very intriguing mystery, I think, and shit. I like the conflict it taking over Billy makes for Max, since he is a shitty guy, but Max still does care for him. Season 1 is definitely like the actual best in quality, like I said, but I would be lying if I said Season 3 wasn't my favorite. It's something about the vibes. Vibes, moments, and aura, but the nostalgic vibes for the 80s mall are very fucking nice, even though I wasn't alive for that time period. The color grading, it brings it all together. It's so good. This season looks so nice. They actually put the Netflix money from the popularity of the show, like, to use.
This food is so fucking good, Lois.
Ah, okay. Wow.
And then season 4 hits, and now the show looks like fucking ass. Also, it starts to become ass in the writing department, too. Well, previous seasons had problems. There's the previously mentioned stuff with season 2, like Bob's death and the shitty episode with way too comedic of characters and a gang with Elle's sister. Why did I make that sense? What is with the wording here? And then with season 3, it's definitely probably a bit too silly with some stuff. I mentioned the silly factor with the mall plot, but the Joyce Hopper stuff also has issues I alluded to. That Russian guy they capture is just like way too silly of a character probably for what was originally a grounded mystery show. He really likes the Looney Tunes and Woody the Woodpecker and insists on having a cherry Slurpee, but this stuff is like actually funny to me. Then they act like you should actually care about him dying when he gets shot through his fucking Woody the Woodpecker doll. This didn't really affect my enjoyment of the show much, but yeah, A lot of issues with too much comedy. Now I'm going to very naturally pivot to talking about my problems with Season 4 that are pretty much, like, not that at all. Season 4's writing flips between, pretty good and fucking dog shit. It retcons a bunch of bullshit that is just very dumb. Vecna is the original superpowered person, and 11 didn't know because of amnesia or something. And Vecna has been the guy controlling all of the monsters in the Upside Down. I actually don't know if that's fully established this season, but I am not checking. I don't give a fuck anymore. If they say that for the first time in Season 5, I don't fucking care. Dr. Brenner is alive, which, like, okay, I guess I can accept that. You don't actually see his body, but, like, I kind of just think 11's arc this season isn't very well written. So my willingness to believe this fucker actually survived this shit is very much so impacted by the bad writing. 11 being forced to work with her past to bring her powers back is kind of interesting, but the initial force bringing her to do so is wondering if she's the monster, which the audience is made to wonder since they have like a 10-minute scene at the start of the season making you think she's just slaughtered a bunch of people. But no, that was Vecna. 11 just conveniently forgot all of this and needed to go through a bunch of memories to remember this. Through these memories, though, you do kind of get to see what her life was like during the experiments and how she was the outsider to this group like the party is at their school. But this is quite unnecessary. She's already an outsider for being the weird freak with powers and also not like interacting with any other human beings for her whole life. She's already getting bullied at the normal school. She doesn't need this. It just feels way too overly drawn out. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't good either. Oh, also, before I move on from this, I need to mention the weird choice to have both a kid with a CGI Millie Bobby Brown face and an adult Millie Bobby Brown here. Why am I saying her whole name? I guess there's not really a better way to do that, but Millie Bobby Brown. Like, the reason they have adult Millie Bobby Brown, I can't keep saying her whole name. You can't shorten it to Bobby, though. Could I just call her Bobby Brown? Millie? I'll go for Bobby. Like, the reason they have adult Bobby here at all is because the CGI face looks off and kind of creepy. But instead of mostly using her as an adult, they keep alternating for no reason, and it's just distracting. And again, the whole bullshit of Vecna's been behind it all along is so dumb. Then during that scene, they drop another bomb that he looks like that just because he got hit by a bunch of lightning or whatever and it fried him up. Dumb bullshit. But then on the other hand, I like a lot of the shit they do with Vecna before that. You might even call it smart shit. The concept of a serial killer that invades people's minds is neat and stuff, and the arc it causes for Max to where she realizes she only has a day left to live, and you see how she spends what she believes is likely to be her last day and all of the emotions that arise from that. And then she's about to be killed, but then she starts to remember all of the things she values in her life and fights to keep living despite being so accepting of her oncoming death before. Everything with Max here is like my favorite arc any character has in the show. I know this running scene and the song was like so popular at the time, it might have lost its impact for a lot of people with how much of a moment it was, but it was popular for a very good reason. I actually cried watching this scene again. I'm pretty sure I cried the first time too, but whatever. Pretty much anything involving any of the characters in Hawkins I like Eddie being framed for the murder. I like Lucas wanting to fit in with the popular crowd and then embracing who he actually is. Wait, actually, this is an interjection from later. I had a thought. This is kind of just Nancy's arc from the first season, just with Lucas now for some reason. It's not bad here. It was good with Nancy in the first season. Why are we doing the same shit? The setup of all these brutal murders is actually a really great mystery. And with the very fucking high budget this time, they do some cool stuff with the gang fully exploring the Upside Down for extended periods. So that's something good the money was put towards, I guess. Show still looks like shit now, though. Hey, I'm back with another edition after I started editing. I realized I don't talk about anything that's going on with Hopper and Russia at all. That's mostly because it's very uninteresting with how it doesn't pay off towards anything in season 5. I had better, feelings towards it when I didn't know what it led to, because there are no consequences from Hopper being in Russia. He's just able to go back to living his life, even though everyone thought he was dead. Just, for some reason, he's able to become the police chief again, and it's fine. Hopper probably should have just stayed dead in season 3. I don't think he adds anything to season 5 and season 4 really that much. He should have just been dead. So, the season has all these great aspects, and then also all of these really bad ones. I overall think the season is is good. It is a downgrade from like the other seasons overall, I think. But we aren't beyond the point of redemption yet. Its main problem is Vecna. There's other issues, but this isn't an in-depth review of the season. I'm just trying to get across, I think Vecna is dumb. He had potential as a concept before they made him one, and behind everything all along, but whatever. This brings me finally to season 5 of this show. Was this season good? No. Is it bad? Before the finale came out, I was just gonna say it was aggressively mid, but the decisions they made there and just thinking about the season more, yeah, it's just bad. They have that cliffhanger at the end of season 4 of Vecna's plans causing the apocalypse with upside down mist starting to infect the planet. But, no. The government puts metal sheets over the rifts to restore the status quo. Then maybe don't write yourself into a corner and clearly show that happening in the last season then, if you're not going to commit to it. It's very funny how the Duffer Brothers on the press tour for this season keep talking about how they've known how this series was going to end from the start and had all of this planned out, and this season is like the biggest retcon fest I've ever witnessed. Vecna was actually why Will was captured in season 1. He was going to do something to him. He made him like the Mind Flayer's spy to build tunnels and stuff for Vecna to take over. This was definitely the case all along. Will was not gonna fucking die in the Upside Down in season 1. Totally. Max didn't lose her sight in season 4 and also talk for a bit when she came back to life. Her mind has actually been in Vecna since she was brought back to life by 11. And when she wakes back up, she can see now. Can't have a disabled character in this show. No siree. The Upside Down actually isn't the alternate dimension. It's only the gateway to it. There's an even more upside or down place in the Upside Down. The Upside Down is man-made. This is so interesting and definitely not gay and lame. There's more retcons surrounding Vecna, but I've got to bitch about other shit first. The Demogorgon attacks the Wheelers, but somehow the mom and dad survive, and the Demogorgon didn't finish the job for some reason. This show just can't kill anyone. The mom and the dad aren't even important characters, and do basically nothing else for the rest of the season. What's the point in them being alive? Actually, I don't even think they show the dad being hurt. He's never shown to be in the hospital. I think he's just fine. How did he survive that? I kind of like how the mom is really fucking pissed and kills some Demogorgons and stuff, so maybe keep her alive, but at least kill the dad. Nobody in the show or the audience gives a shit about him. Maybe also make the mom unable to speak or something from getting lashed in the neck. But as I pointed out with Max, no actual harm can be done to anyone beyond mental trauma. Some asshole in the comments is gonna be like, oh, but Max is in a wheelchair, She gets up and she's walking fine later. It doesn't count. Vecna starts kidnapping kids because they are the perfect vessels, but that's like all the explanation that's ever given. I guess because he can trick them easier, but also like, why does he even need 12 people to merge the Upside or Down? Not its actual name, but I don't remember what it's actually called, and the Right Side Up, potentially what it's actually called since it's the name of the finale. The fact that the end of the world is the ending of Stranger Things is just so insane to me. I guess the Russians were the start of the escalation, but like, you can just make the finale the gang deciding to go into the dimension and close it off so it stops leaking into ours, since people keep dying. Doesn't have to be the fact that the end of the world is coming too. Everyone is acting like they're some superhero team and doing the shittiest MCU quips.
Hello, brother.
Pretty much all of the writing in general is MCU level of quality. It's genuinely insane how much of a dip this season is. You could feel it occasionally before, but there is very few natural sounding conversations in this season. You start to forget this is the same show that was once a grounded character drama and not just some random action slot. The reason I think the Russian stuff works for me in season 3 is because the adults are who go in and shut the portal off, not the kids. There is still some grounds in reality. They aren't gonna have normal 13-year-olds go kill Russians. And Hopper was also, like, actually in Vietnam, so he just feels like he'd actually have the ability to do this stuff. But now we've got Nancy Wheeler shooting military soldiers. The fact that Nancy Wheeler has killed, like, actual human people, very strange things, like the concept of any of these characters having a kill count is just ridiculous. But we're here now. I mean, of like human people. I get it makes sense that they would have a kill count on monsters, but human people, they don't even call attention to it. It's never brought up again. That we don't get to see Nancy coping with the fact or preparing to cope with the fact that she's going to be taking human lives. She's just fine with it. I guess Nancy is at least actually an adult, but she's fresh out of high school. She's like 19. And it's not just her. All of the kids are wearing military gear. Even though the writing was still ass earlier in the season, I at least liked when they were trying to figure out Vecna's plan. It kind of resembled Stranger Things still. Even if them constantly saying theory was genuinely making me go insane. Could you guys seriously not come up with a synonym for theory? Please, stop saying this shit. Please, shut the fuck up. For the love of God, please. Yeah, Steve and Dustin's banter while they were chasing after the Demogorgon. There was someone else there. I don't remember who. That was fun. The score that accompanied those scenes was really fucking good too, actually. That goes for the whole show. The score is consistently great. The gang then fighting the Demogorgon and setting traps for them was a lot better comparatively to the later shit also. There's still a drastic difference in tone. It's not nearly as grounded in the drama and weight of these moments. There's no attempt to create genuine fear from the Demogorgon in the way the scene is shot. It's purely an action set piece. The characters barely act afraid and make MCU quips at it.
Catch this!
There is still some actual character drama in this season I think is kind of decent, at least I think. Holly is a pretty decent addition. Her finding her own strength and fighting to get back to the people she loves with all of the shit she goes through while still being a kid isn't horrible. Now that I think about it though, this is just what Max goes through basically. She's Holly's guide and they go through essentially the same things. You could probably cut Holly out and just make it so we're following Max in Vecna's mind. I like the conversation she has with Max when they're about to leave though, even if it kills any suspense since it's too long and you just feel like they're idiots for standing around there when Max literally talked about how Vecna found her in this exact place a few episodes ago. Whatever, I'm just gonna stick to saying this is decent. I have very little kind to say. Fuck, I mean, I like Steve and Dustin still. The scene where they fight about whether or not Eddie got himself killed, which, quick aside, he definitely did. The bats were supposed to swarm the trailer, but he decides to distract them longer, despite the fact he had no reason to do so. Like, they could have shown the bats start to fly away, that they weren't falling for it, but whatever. Yeah, I like the way that Dustin's trauma and grief over Eddie makes him extra fearful of losing Steve. I liked the two scenes where that conversation happens. I like the concept of Nancy and Jonathan finally opening up and having a conversation about the relationship because they think they're gonna die. But it's also written a bit shit, to where it's not entirely clear to the audience if they broke up. I saw the comment by the Duffers before I saw the episode because I had to wait for it to be on the piracy site, so I knew to interpret it as this, but I can see how some people could see it as Jonathan just not proposing. So yeah, even that scene isn't really great. I can't think of any other positives.
Christ. Holy Christ, there's nothing left.
The finale. Yay. They go to the Upside Down to fight the guy. Steve almost dies. You know he's not gonna die because no one ever dies. Vecna goes into his cave. They reveal that Vecna is actually under the influence of the Mind Flayer, but he likes being controlled by it, I guess. He's actively choosing to let it control him, which I thought it was gonna be like, no, actually the Mind Flayer is just making him think that. But I should have known that was too smart for this show now. Vecna not being in control and having to live with the guilt of having killed all these people could be kinda cool, but whatever. I guess he's just evil because he likes doing it. What's even the point of raising the question if you're not gonna make it worth asking? Also, there's this rock thing that gives him the powers, and it puts him under the control of the Mind Flayer. Wouldn't Eleven and all of the other kids made from one's blood be part of the Mind Flayer hive mind, since it's what gave Vecna the powers? Maybe the rock is separate, and the Mind Flayer just sought out Vecna for his newly gained powers. That's totally it, and not this being a retcon that the Duffers didn't originally plan on, so they forgot to keep in mind how this impacts other characters in the show, like Al. What the fuck ever. Now 11 shows up and the Upside Down. She wants to kill herself. Forgot to mention that before now, but she wants to. Kali, her sister, from season 2. She's back. They killed the gang of singular personality traits and took her to try and recreate Eleven. But only Elle's blood can do that, so they need her. And to end the cycle, I guess, Elle's gotta kill herself. The fact that she's been thinking about it this long and they talk about it this much makes it clear she's gonna do it. Anyway, they killed the Mind Flayer, who also is not a shadow monster now for some reason. Looks much less cool now. Very gay and lame. Then, they kill Vecna, who they already killed, but they kill him like even harder now. And Winona Ryder gets one of her 4 lines in the 2-hour episode. She goes into the Upside Down and is with the kids the whole time, but she doesn't say literally anything, I think, until this moment. She's just here to do this axe thing and say it's all about family.
You fucked with the wrong family.
I just realized I skipped over the shitty looking VFX action scene. But like, just look at this. I don't need to say anything making fun of this. It looks like shit, you can see it. Whatever. Elle kills herself. The ending is left ambiguous to whether Mike's theory, oh, don't you love they keep saying that,
This is just a theory, right?
she is alive is real or not. They shot and killed Kali. I forgot to mention that too. The fact that the Duffers even said it's up to interpretation. Elle's dead. They've made one of their numerous dumb fucking statements since this, and they're saying like, oh, only Millie Bobby Brown and us know Elle's true fate. She's fucking dead. There was an interview that like Millie Bobby Brown gave where like someone asked them like, are you happy with your character's ending? And she looked very not happy. She's fucking dead. They made the girl who has had to suffer by the hands of horrible people throughout her whole life, and the only way to escape, I guess, was to kill herself. Sure, she can't have a happy life with her found family. 5 seasons to come to the same conclusion as season 1, but much shittier. I'm not against tragedies, but I feel Elle's story would have been better resolved proving Kali wrong, that she can live a life. I don't even care to touch much on any other character's endings. It's what you expect, basically. I don't fucking know. The ending is very generic. What I do think is actually notable enough to mention from the epilogue, or whatever you'd call it, is how fucking dumb it is they have Holly's dumb friends show up to play D&D at the end. They are clearly meant to reflect the kids at the start of the show. They even have the one singular black kid to reflect Lucas. This feels racist. I'm not black, so I can't speak on this fully, but like, I can feel this is weird. And I saw like 2 tweets talking about this. So oh, listen to the tweets But one of the tweets was about Erica and how she's written usually. They were saying it was a stereotype. And the other, I think, was about this. I can't remember anymore. I just want this video done. I did think this was weird when I was watching the episode, though. I think this might be my original thought. There might have been a tweet. I can't remember. But yeah, can't have more than one of her friends be not white, or hell, even have this be a black girl if you're gonna lean fully into the gender flip thing or whatever. I hope to God this isn't setting up the spin-off. I do not care to see what any of these fuckers get up to in the future, even if I think Holly isn't terrible. 10-hour season, and I had like 3 good things to say about it. So bad. It's not even such abysmal dog shit, I can make fun of it better. Wait, hold on. I gotta mention like 2 things that are quite funny. Then I'll actually continue what I was gonna say. Will's coming out scene with like 20 people in the 80s is quite funny, since he's coming out to the guy who called him a fag in season 1 4 years ago. But I guess Hopper became not homophobic since then. Wait, no. Okay, hold on. He wasn't the one who called him a fag. It was his mom.
Say he was queer, called him a
And Hopper was just asked,
Is he?
but he was still homophobic. Okay, this is another addition during the editing process because I made a really important discovery. I was looking for footage to show of Hopper standing here with them, but he's not here actually. I think when I was watching, I thought Steve was Hopper because he was standing next to Murray, but no, that's Steve. He's just not here. How the fuck? Hopper is literally Will's stepdad. Why would he not want him here? Even fucking Kali is here. I know for a fucking fact these two have never had a conversation with each other. Hopper is the only one not here. So the only logical conclusion is Hopper actually is homophobic. I was just fucking joking before. I thought he had actually improved. He is very intentionally the only one not here. Hopper is Problemacious Media's, not just for serving in Vietnam, but for also being a dastardly homophobe. I can't fucking believe this. How could Hopsifer do this?
Coming out to all of these people at once was definitely very necessary. Totally shouldn't have just been him coming out to his mom, brother, and his 5 close friends. Also, he kind of outs Robin here. Great writing. Okay, now the second thing I was gonna mention. Vecna comes out, I was just talking about the gay, of the Upside Down, says some bullshit to Will, and fucks off. He doesn't kill anyone. Correction, he'll kill anyone but our precious main characters. It's not something where he doesn't see them as a genuine threat. He tried to kill Max before this, and he tries to kill all of them later. I guess he just forgot he could kill them. Also, if Vecna can come into the right side up, why didn't he just kidnap the kids himself? I guess this goes for with Will in season 1 too, since he apparently unlocked the door in season 1 according to the Duffer Brothers.
But yes, you're very correct. The Demogorgons do not have telekinesis. That only leaves one option.
That's a confirmation in my eyes. I'm just gonna say that's confirmed.
I think we can confirm it right now.
So he was physically there. Is he fucking stupid? Just grab the kids. It doesn't matter. You're ending the world anyway. Who cares if you're seen? You're immune to gunshots. I know I'm devolving into CinemaSins level of criticism here, but it's so dumb to me. I just assumed he had the monsters do the shit for him since he couldn't get out of the Upside Down easily. But no, he's just fucking lazy, I guess. Hello, I am back again. I don't know what edition this is now. I know I said I was only gonna do 2, extra things before moving on to what I was gonna say, but, I feel it's necessary to mention now that there is a ChatGPT scandal that the Duffer Brothers may have used that with the documentary that's come out in the time that I've been working on this video, because, oh my fucking god, this has taken so long. I started this on the 1st, and it's the 19th right now. Yeah, there's a scandal that they could have used ChatGPT. It looks like one of the search bars or tabs that they have open while they're writing the script in the documentary, it looks like it could be ChatGPT. I don't know, but then I don't know who came out. I'll put it up on screen, but someone who worked on the show with them said oh, doesn't everyone have ChatGPT open for research at least? And the fact that they didn't just outright deny it is not a good look. So I wouldn't be surprised if ChatGPT was used to write the script for this at parts. So yeah, not good. Sorry, that was very disjointed to put that there, but I just needed to mention these. This show has just completely tarnished any legacy it could have had with this season. Even beyond the show being ass now, like I said earlier, many people involved suck. I think I partially get how Harry Potter fans feel now. To have the people involved in the creation of something you used to like be so horrible just sucks. But, also, you can very easily avoid supporting the franchise. Well, actually, officers, if you're listening, I'm lying. I would never do anything to possibly impact the actor for dipshit Derek's career. Wait, fuck! I forgot to mention my thoughts on that character too, since I couldn't actually slot it in. He's gay and lame. Moving on! This show gives me such conflicting feelings now. I did have a genuine love for it when I first watched it 3.5 years ago. I saw my sister and her boyfriend watching the finale of season 4, I think, and decided I should finally watch it that night. Season 1 hooked me to the point I watched the entire show within the span of 5 days. In my defense, I was sick for part of this period, and it was summer, but getting little sleep and just watching Stranger Things probably wasn't very helpful to my health. Now the show just feels empty to me. The creators let the Netflix money sabotage their art, and now they've made this $400 million slop fest. And also, they're evil. The show is just too big to fail at this point. There isn't many examples of monoculture anymore where everyone is talking about the same thing, but this show is so popular, pretty much anyone has seen it or have their reasons for not having seen it. I can't say I'll miss the show at this point, but I do think I will miss the communal experience of everyone in my life watching the same thing. Pretty much everyone in the Western world, at least, was aware of this season coming out. Whether you like the show or not, I think having common ground to discuss with people is something that's pretty much entirely gone in the world right now. It's a unique thing that you can't really find anywhere else, so it feels weird that it's fully gone. Well, aside from the spin-off shows they are doing, but I don't really think those are gonna hit the same for people. This has been a very disjointed video, but I needed to get my cluster of thoughts about this show out. I can hopefully try to never think of this show again after this. Thanks for watching the video, I guess. Hopefully you can relate to my venting about how bad this show was. Like the video and subscribe or something, because apparently actually saying that does help make more people do that somehow. Alrighty, goodbye!